I think I've got something for us. Ernest and I are putting your bear in a book. We're putting you in it too.
What will you call me in the book?
Your real name, Christopher Robin.
Hi everyone, Vegas from Critic here, Jeffrey K. Howard here to review Goodbye, Christopher Robin, starring Domhall Gleeson, Margot Robbie, and Kelly Macdonald. Who did not grow up with Winnie the Pooh? I mean, I was one of those ultimate Winnie the Pooh kids. You know, Sears had the license from Disney, you know, from I think in the 60s and 70s, maybe even to the 80s. But I was a little Gen X kid, you know, in the 70s, so I had the one-piece pajama with Winnie the Pooh on it and the little footsie things, you know, and I had the stuffed animal, you know, I just loved Winnie the Pooh. I loved the books, I loved the Disney cartoon, and also I went to grad night, you know, so I was, when all the high schools, you know, can go to Disneyland for their night of graduation, and I actually met Winnie the Pooh, yeah, so we still keep in touch. Anyway, this is a biopic, loose biopic on A.A. Milne, who I cannot believe all this time I thought was a woman. You know, like P.L. Travers wrote Mary Poppins. I thought A.A. Milne was a woman. It's a man, baby. And so that really shocked me seeing this movie. And it's a father-son film, okay? It's about how instant success can destroy a family. It's about, you know, there's so many themes in this movie. It's more than just a sugar-coated kind of, oh, that's how they came up with Tigger, that's how they came up with Eeyore, which we do. We find out how all of our favorite characters in Winnie the Pooh come about. You know, the names, the locations, the inspiration. But it's much more than that, okay? A.A. Milne was a World War I vet. So when he came home, he was what they had the term back then, shell-shocked. And he was, a balloon would pop and he would think it was gunfire. He was really on edge. You can imagine, because, you know, this is the 100th anniversary of World War I, which is, if you've seen on the History Channel, that documentary, the 4 or 5 night thing they did, it's the worst, you know, one of the worst wars in history. It was really nasty, first modern warfare. So you can understand people coming home from that had so much baggage. So he comes home and Margot Robbie is his wife, and they have a nanny, Kelly Macdonald. So they're taking care of their own lives while Kelly Macdonald plays mother, nursemaid, you know, to Christopher Robin, who goes by Billy Moon in the movie. So it's such a weird dynamic because, you know, here are the parents, they're providing for everything, but you never see Milne hug his son. You never see him do anything to show any kind of affection. And he's got writer's block because he's a famous playwright and an author, and he's moving to the country to get away from the city, to get away from London, so he can figure out his life, you know, how to live again after living through World War I. And of course, his son says, look, can you write a book for me? So they walk around the woods in the back of this country home, you know, and all of it starts to unfold. I'm not going to go through all the details, so you can be surprised. It's such a heartwarming flick, but underneath it are some serious themes, and I don't know how much of it's embellished and made up, you know. I haven't really researched it online yet, but, you know, I always think of, you know, so some of these things are so heavy in the movie. I think of that line from The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, when the legend becomes the fact, print the legend. So I'm watching a lot of this, just like in Finding Neverland with Johnny Depp about J.M. Barrie, how he made Peter Pan, and also even Finding Mr. Banks, you know, Saving Mr. Banks. Why do I say finding all the time? Saving Mr. Banks with Tom Hanks, say that 3 times fast, about the origin of Mary Poppins and P.L. Travers. So we have this biopic of one of the most, you know, famous children's books of all time. I think it's still voted the most beloved children's novels of all time. It even beats Harry Potter. Is that considered a children's book? So we have amazing performances by Domhall Gleeson and Margot Robbie. And there's 2 actors who play Christopher Robin, and I want to make sure I get their names right. Will Tilston, who plays the young Christopher Robin, who's just amazing. This kid has such an awareness, an emotional range. I mean, he's one of the most incredible child performances I've seen in a long time. And also, his Christopher played as a teenager is played by Alex Lawther. And it's a curse. It really is. So they have instant fame because of Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh. Nobody cares about the author. Nobody knows who A.A. Milne is, but they know who Winnie the Pooh is, and they know Christopher Robin. So are you the real Christopher Robin? So he starts going on publicity tours. He starts going, doing all these kind of promotions. You know, this is like 1918 or 1920, somewhere around there, or 1924. Anyway, he's about 8 years old, and just imagine the entire world knows who this kid is. So he thinks it's a fictionary character. He thinks that this story is meant for them. So the movie is really complex when it comes to the human family dynamic and how it's being torn apart by the success of this book, and also just, Christopher Robin wants to live a normal life. So it's really a remarkable film. So Goodbye Christopher Robin, not only is it heartwarming, not only is it just like, showing kind of like the dark side of success at an early age, something that happened in the roaring 20s, can you believe that? But it's actually just a wonderful, wonderful experience, and it brings back so many great memories. I want to mention the director's name, Simon Curtis, and he just does a wonderful job. The music and the characters, you're just going to feel great coming out of this movie. It's one of my favorite experiences in the cinema this year. Cinema, what am I, European? All right, so check out Goodbye Christopher Robin, and come back here and let me know what you think. Give a comment below if you're watching on YouTube. Also, check out my social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Also, I told you about the Facebook thing, yeah? Yeah, I told you Facebook, but here on YouTube, that's what I meant to do. I'm sorry, I've got like 3 movies to see today, and I'm just like, my mind is racing. But check me out on YouTube, share, subscribe. Am I babbling now? Go see Christopher Robin. It's great. Don't say goodbye, say hello. I'm Jeffrey K. Howard in Las Vegas. I'll see you next time.